Plot summary of Bernice Bobs Her Hair by Scott Fitzgerald. At a summer dance at a country club, teens from wealthy families flirt, dance, and hang out in ways that the older guests don't understand. Bernice, an awkward 18-year-old girl whose simple ways and old-fashioned values clash with those of her peers, stands out in this group. She is staying with her cousin Marjorie for yet another summer. Marjorie, who is full of life, has tried in small ways to help Bernice become more popular, but Bernice keeps making mistakes. Even though she is beautiful, she is hopelessly unpopular and bores every dance partner she has. Marjorie's childhood friend Warren McIntyre likes to dance with Bernice to get Marjorie's attention. But even Warren, who everyone thinks is a handsome young man and a good prospect, can't win her over. Even though they dance, Bernice can't keep up with Warren's attempts to flirt, and the two fall back into boring small talk. Bernice hears Marjorie and her mother, Mrs. Harvey, talking about her in private late that night, after the dance is over. Even though Mrs. Harvey and many other adults compliment Bernice on her ladylike manners and sweet personality, Marjorie quickly dismisses these traits as old-fashioned, unattractive, and signs of a weak, self-righteous personality. Bernice hears her cousin make fun of her, call her a lost cause, and even make racist assumptions about her family history. Bernice talks to Marjorie about this conversation the next morning. She says she will leave right away, and Marjorie, instead of being embarrassed by this, tells her to go. The two girls have very different ideas about what it means to be a woman. Bernice, in tears, talks about how women have always been friends, while Marjorie says that the traditional ladylike woman is boring and has no personality, and that Bernice's moral superiority over lively, flirty, opinionated girls like Marjorie is based on jealousy. Bernice is so upset that she goes away for a while, but she eventually goes back to Marjorie with a proposal. Bernice says that she doesn't know why she is so unpopular, even though it hurts her. She wants to feel better so badly that she agrees to take Marjorie's advice on fashion, behavior, and anything else that will help solve the problem. In response, Marjorie asks if Bernice should get a more fashionable bob cut for her hair. Bernice agrees to think about this idea, even though it scares her. Soon, this made-up haircut will be a juicy bit of gossip that Bernice can use to get people's attention on Marjorie's orders. Bernice quickly becomes popular with the other teens thanks to Marjorie's careful coaching and a script filled with funny Oscar Wilde quotes. Before, she only danced with a few people, and they never danced with her again. Now, the boys are always cutting in to dance with her. Even though she stumbles a bit at first, she slowly gains self-confidence and a sense of how to act around other people. At some point, Warren McIntyre starts to notice Bernice. He thinks she's almost as attractive as the always-away Marjorie. Marjorie then turns against Bernice because she is jealous and finds the rumors embarrassing. She makes fun of her in social situations and says that her promise to cut her hair is a bluff. Bernice agrees to get her hair cut short because she is embarrassed and feels like she has no choice. She knows it won't look good on her. People gather at the barbershop to see what's going on. In the end, Marjorie's teasing smile is what gets Bernice to get the haircut. When everyone sees how bad it looks, especially Warren, Bernice is once again left out of social circles. Bernice decides to get revenge when she realizes how sneaky Marjorie's betrayal was over the next few days. She packs her bags late at night and writes a note to her aunt to say goodbye and tell her she will be going home. Then she sneaks into Marjorie's room, uses a pair of scissors to cut off her braids, and goes to the train station by herself. Bernice throws the cut braids onto Warren's front porch as she walks by. She feels free, happy, and proud of herself for getting into trouble.
About the author. Francis Scott Key Fitzgerald, who was known to his friends as Scott Fitzgerald, was born in the middle of the United States. However, he spent most of his early life in New York, where his father worked. In 1913, he went to Princeton University, where he got better at his craft by writing for the Nassau Literature Review and doing other work on his own, including an early novel that was turned down. When he didn't do well in school, he dropped out of Princeton and became a commissioned officer in the U.S. Army. Soon after that, Fitzgerald met Zelda Sayre, who became his famous wife. In 1920, when This Side of Paradise was a big hit, Scott and Zelda Fitzgerald got married. As Scott's career grew, so did their rocky relationship, which became as famous as his books. In the 1920s and 1930s, Fitzgerald lived in Paris with his wife Zelda as an expatriate. During that time, he wrote more than 60 short stories for the Saturday Evening Post and others for Collier's Weekly, Esquire, and Redbook. The Great Gatsby, his most well-known book, was published to some success in 1925. The less popular tender is The Night came out in 1934. By the time he reached middle age, mental illness and alcoholism had ruined Fitzgerald's health, and the costs of Zelda's hospital stays, she was first admitted for schizophrenia in 1930, were putting a strain on the writer's finances. Until he died in 1940, he made a living by writing for Hollywood. Critics have since said that this writer, who wrote so well about the decadence, excess, and crippling boredom of the Jazz Age, had a short life cut short by the same things he wrote about.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.